So you may be wondering, how many chickens do you need for a sustainable amount of eggs? How many chickens do you need for a suburban backyard? Or even how many roosters do you need? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how many chickens you need for many different topics. Maybe you can find the answers for your questions in this video, but if you don't, then don't forget to comment and I'll respond with a good number. Anyways, be sure to like and subscribe before we get in so we can reach 4,000 before July. Let's go! Back in 2020, we got our first batch of 9 chickens, and about 5 months later, they laid eggs at a consistent pace. We were getting anywhere from 3 to 6 decent-sized eggs per day from 8 chickens. That's not too bad, right? So how many chickens do you need to not have to go to the store and buy eggs anymore? Well, that all depends on how many people reside in your household and how many eggs you are getting per day. At my farm, I live with 5 other people, 3 of which being my younger siblings. So knowing that, I'd say a sustainable amount of eggs is about 8 to 16 eggs per week. Now, I'm not saying that getting 85 eggs per week isn't sustainable, but it does not come without its complications. So I'd recommend that if you have spare eggs lying around, I'd say you should give it away or sell some. If you want to learn a bit more about chickens and business, then you could check out the video linked in the card above, which talks about the many different ways you can earn income from chickens. But anyway, how many chickens should you have? Well, I'd say at the very least 4 chickens, at the very most 12 chickens. If you have no plans of selling eggs, of course, but if you want to sell eggs, then the sky's the limit. Buy as many chickens as you need. So, if you want to get a rooster or roosters, there are many things you must know before you get one. One of the biggest pieces of information you must know is the ratio of hens to roosters. Now, I will say that ratio is subjective, but in my opinion, I'd say at the very least you should have 8 hens to 1 rooster. But I'd say the maximum should be 80 hens to 1 rooster, so it's a pretty big gap. However, most people agree that 10 hens to 1 rooster is acceptable. Now, you may be wondering why we need a rooster ratio, and it's for quite a simple reason. Roosters love 2 things: some of their hens, and also boxing other roosters like probably Mike Tyson. So having as few roosters as possible is the best thing you can do, because they usually fight over hens, territory, position on their pecking order, or literally over nothing. When your chickens are in the chicken coop, the amount of space is essential for them, as they need some space for each other. Now, to be able to know how much space each chicken gets, you need to know how to solve area of a rectangle, which I am 100% sure you know how to do, but if you don't, the formula is on the screen. So now that you know the formula, here is how much floor space each chicken gets. So for a hen, I'd recommend 3 to 5 square feet of floor space for each of them. And for roosters, I'd recommend about 6 square feet of floor space for each of them. Now, if you're a more visual learner, allow me to show you an example. So in my pet flock, we have 12 hens and 1 rooster. Now in that example, the total amount of floor space is for hens is 60 square feet, and my rooster gets 6 square feet of floor space, so 66 square feet of floor space is optimal. In actuality, the floor space on the pet flock is 82 square feet. So this is a more complicated one, but allow me to show you how much money we spend on our chickens monthly. Now, because I'm from New England, each month will be a bit different. So in this example, I'll use the months of February 2024 and May 2024 as 2 examples. In February, we spent about $120 on just the pet flock, because that was the month we got about 14 inches of snow randomly, versus only spending $31 last month, as the weather was pretty nice and the coldest it got was 35 degrees. As the bugs came out, you'll notice them eating less food, and that usually starts in late March and the trend continues until June. Then it dips down as you go through September and October. This process continues every year and will remain nearly the same unless something big happens on either side that causes a rise or drop in the cost. On screen is an example from 2022. Keep in mind, that only accounts for the chicken essentials and does not account for water or electricity charges. Now, this is completely subjective based on the type of person you are, but I'll try to see both sides in this segment and give a neutral view. On one side, you have people who say you should only give them treats now and then, and that they do not need treats as a big part of their diet. But then we have the other side who says you should give them treats as often as you want, like many times per day. Both of them are a bit excessive in my opinion, and I always tend to have a neutral view on most things, like in this example. So my view is to give them treats that are good for them every day or every few days, and only give them less healthy treats on special occasions. Like when I gave them some leftover pizza on Thursday. Pizza does not have nutrients that they need, but it really isn't terrible for them, but I only give it to them every now and then. Now, the average suburban backyard is about 15,000 square feet, so you don't have the biggest space to work with, and you don't want them everywhere. But having them in a few locations is fine, so in my eyes, I'd recommend getting 4 to 7 chickens for a suburban backyard, as there isn't a whole lot of them to manage, and you still get a decent amount of eggs. Now, I want to warn you, do not, under any circumstances, get a rooster, as your neighbors will probably file a noise complaint, and you do not want to have the cops at your door at 5 in the morning. But as long as you don't have a massive amount of them in your yard, the noises should annoy your neighbors just a bit less, I'd say. Now, I will say that the size of the chicken is completely subjective to the breed of chicken that you buy. Like, the average height of a hen is about 10 to 14 inches, while their length is about 25 inches. Their wingspan is about 29 inches, which is a key reason why they cannot fly, but rather flutter, and they weigh 6 to 9 pounds on average. Now, when you get roosters in the picture, they're a bit bigger, being about 11 to 15 inches tall, and since they have longer tails, their length is about 30 or so inches. Their wingspan is only about 36 inches though, another reason they cannot fly. And roosters can weigh as little as 4 pounds like my rooster Waldo, or they can weigh as much as my rooster Falcon, who weighs 13 pounds, and no, we don't overfeed him, he overfeeds himself. He tends to take the treats all to himself, so yeah, not a good rooster in my opinion. The size of the chicken should be able to help you decide the size of the chicken coop when it's all said and done. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. The number of the day today is 86, so comment that if you want to confuse people who stopped watching. Anyway, if you want to see 4 years of chicken knowledge in only 15 minutes, be sure to click the video on the screen. And if that doesn't interest you, then you can click the playlist and see over 40 similar videos. Anyways, be sure to subscribe so we can get 4K by July, and I'm out of here. Bye, everyone.